Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Physical Education and Health 1. This is week 4, okay? Our topic is about muscle strengthening exercises, okay? So, muscular strength relates to your ability to move and lift objects. It's measured by how much force you can exert and how much weight you can lift for a short period of time. This kind of activity, which includes resistance, training, and lifting weights, causes the body's muscle to work or hold against an applied force or weight. These activities often involve relatively heavy objects, such as weights, which are lifted multiple times to train various muscle groups. Muscle strengthening activity can also be done by using elastic bands or body weight for resistance. Climbing a tree or doing push-ups can also be considered for this type of exercise. Muscle strengthening activities count if they involve a moderate to high level of intensity or effort and work the major muscle groups of the body: the legs, hips, back, chest, abdomen, shoulder, and arms. Muscle strengthening activities for all the major muscle groups should be done at least 2 days a week. Muscle strength versus muscle endurance. While muscular strength and muscular endurance are similar in some ways, they have some key difference. Muscular strength is determined by how much force you can exert or how much weight you can lift. Building muscular strength uses heavier weights for fewer repetitions. Muscular endurance refers to the ability of a muscle to sustain repeated contractions against resistance for an extended period of time. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin, muscle strengthening kung gaano kalakas ka sa pagbubuhat ng mga weights, kung gaano kabigat yung kaya mong buhatin. Okay? Sa muscle endurance, example, nagbubuhat ka ng isang timba, tinataas mo siya paulit-ulit. Yun yung muscle endurance. Gaano mo kayang, ilang beses mo siya kayang buhatin ng paulit-ulit. Repeated. Okay? So that's the difference. Activities that build muscular endurance include long-distance running, cycling, or swimming, along with circuit training and bodyweight exercises. You can improve muscular strength and endurance by doing repeated movements until the point of exhaustion. Yun. So kung paulit-ulit mo siyang ginagawa, nasasanay yung katawan mo, build up ka ng endurance. Okay? So for example, sa jogging, okay? Una, 1 kilometer lang. Kaya mo. The next week, nag-add ka ng additional. No? Humahaba ng humahaba, lumataas ng tumataas yung endurance mo kasi palagi mo siyang ginagawa. Okay? So what are the benefits? Muscular strength enhances overall health and boosts athletic activity. Muscle strengthening activities provide additional benefits not found with aerobic activity. So these are: a strong body allows you to perform movement and activities that require power without getting tired. Okay? Muscular strength helps you maintain a healthy body weight by burning calories and enhancing your body composition, which is the ratio between fat and muscle. Building strength may also boost mood and energy levels while performing healthy sleep patterns. This may boost confidence, provide a sense of accomplishment, and allow you to add more difficult or strenuous activity to your fitness routine. In developing muscular strengths helps to build strong, healthier muscle and bones. This helps to develop good posture and relieve back pain. You'll have more stability, balance, and flexibility, making injuries and falls less likely. Okay, so sabihin doon sa kaka-perform natin ito, yung ating katawan, mas nahuhubog. Okay? Mas na-form siya. So, yung mga injuries na yan, hindi na masyadong possible na mangyari sa'yo kasi nahubog na yung katawan mo sa pagpa-perform mga activities, no? Strengthening activities. So, muscle strengthening activities has three components. Intensity, called how much weight or force is used relative to how much a person is able to lift. Frequency, or how often a person does muscle strengthening activity. Okay. Repetitions, or how many times a person lifts a weight. Okay. The effects of muscle strengthening activity are limited to the muscle doing the work. It's important to work all the major muscle groups of the body: the legs, hip, back, abdomen, chest, shoulders, and arms. No specific amount of time is recommended for muscle strengthening, but muscle strengthening exercise should be performed to the point at which it would be difficult to do another repetition without help. When resistance training is used to enhance muscle strength, one set of 8 to 12 repetitions of each exercise is effective, although 2 or 3 sets may be more effective. Development of muscle strength and endurance is progressive over time. Increases in the amount of weight or the days a week or exercising would result in stronger muscle. Okay? So ito yung kailangan natin tignan. Precautions. Use caution when starting a strengthening exercise program. If you're new to exercise or have any injury or medical concern, here are a few tips to help you to avoid injury. Start slowly and gradually build up the intensity and duration of your workout over a few weeks. Huwag niyong bibiglayin ang katawan niyo. Okay? Listen to your body and stop if you need a break or start to feel any pain. So dapat ang ginagawa niyo, meron kayong break every exercise na ginagawa niyo. Allow for 1 day of recovery between working different muscle groups. Always use proper form and technique to make sure you're getting the most benefit from your workouts. Okay? Use steady controlled movements, especially if you're doing heavy lifting. Give yourself time to rest in between sets. Use caution when working out any area of your body that's prone to pain or injury. This may include your neck, shoulders, and back and joints, such as your wrists, knees, and ankles. Avoid being short of breath or holding your breath, which can cause your blood pressure to rise. For each movement, exhale as you lift and inhale as you lower. So here are some examples of muscle strengthening exercise. Number 1 is jumping jacks, used to work your core muscle, arm, and legs, as well as increase your heart rate. It's also an excellent brain-vigorating exercise that stimulates motor coordination. Okay, sorry. So here we have an example of jumping jacks. So this is the proper way of performing a jumping jack. So let's watch this video.
Let's talk about how to do a jumping jack. You're definitely going to see jumping jacks as a part of your warm-up and even a part of your workout in many boot camps, because they're one of those great exercises where you're getting movement in your upper body, you're getting movement in your lower body, it's cardiovascular, and you don't need any equipment. So you could use it to warm up, you could use it as an interval, like a high-intensity interval in between a strength move where you want to bring your heart rate up. The important things to consider about the jumping jack are that you're getting the movement in your shoulder and in your hip. Primarily, we're talking about abduction, where you're moving away, and adduction, where you're taking it back. You could do a jumping jack without actually jumping. It's called a modified jack. So that would be where you're taking the legs out and the arms up. And just think of it, everything goes out together, everything comes in together. Everything goes out, everything goes in. If you want to add a jump, both legs out, both legs in. And this is where you're really going to start getting the heart rate up, getting the benefits of the higher impact version of the exercise. Main thing you want to think about in the jumping jack is what's going on with your knees. A lot of people tend to just kind of let the legs sink in because they're not engaging their glutes. Your glute muscle externally rotates your legs. So if you think about firing up your glutes, aka your buttocks, you're gonna start to being able to have that proper positioning, which is just gonna trickle all the way down. If you have improper recruitment of the leg muscles, you're also gonna have potentially harmful positioning of your knee. And again, that trickles down into your ankle. So always just firing up your legs, firing up your core, breathing, landing softly by keeping the knees slightly flexed always, just a little bend behind the knee, and that's your jumping jack.
Okay. So that's how you perform a jumping jack properly. Okay. Okay, next is arm extension and shoulder development. Use to strengthen the muscles in your shoulder and arms, holding weights, or just a full water bottle. Bend your elbows, keep your arms close to the body, then bring them straight up over your head and back down to starting position. Okay, so hindi mo kailangan ng weights. Sabi nga, kung meron kang water bottle, no, pwede mo siyang lagyan. Pwedeng may 1 liter ka, tapos basta yung maayos yung grip nyo. Okay? Pwedeng pwedeng metal, kung gusto mo, metal tubing, basta yung nagkakaroon na kayo ng improvement ng intensity sa next workout. So here we have an example of your arm extension video.
In before you start. You're only going to need a light pair of dumbbells for this routine, or you can substitute it out for water bottles. Let's go ahead and get started with our first exercise. This one focuses on the arms, shoulders, and upper back all at the same time. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring those arms straight up in front of your chest to about shoulder height. Then nice and slow, row those elbows back behind you. Get a nice tight squeeze. Let them relax just a little bit. Then rotate that forearm pointing straight up in the air. Slowly back down. Extend those arms back out. And then slowly let them drop back down to those thighs. Nice, slow, controlled motions. Make sure you do a little tiny bit of a pause in each position before you move on to the next. The main thing you want to focus on is just moving nice and slow into control. Making sure that you're not swinging your arms. And also you're keeping that back nice and straight, as well as bringing those elbows up to shoulder height and keeping them there for the full range of motion until you start dropping back down from that ventral raise. So you want to make sure that that arm, through that row and through that rotation up, that elbow stays right at shoulder height. And there's your last one right here. Go ahead and let it relax. And let's move on to the next exercise, bicep curl with 2 hooks. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Starting with just a traditional bicep curl, you're going to keep those elbows tucked back to your sides. Curl that fist up to that shoulder as tight as you can without moving that elbow. Then go ahead and let those elbows release. Bring them up in front of your face, and you're going to do a hook motion. So bringing that arm out really nice and wide, bring it around in front of your face, tucking that elbow back down, and then doing the same thing with the other arm. Then nice and slow, bring those elbows back to your sides. Tuck those elbows right next to that rib cage. Extend those arms back down fully before you bring them right back up for that next bicep curl. Now, because you're doing a hook motion with this bicep curl, you're going to have a tendency to want to let that elbow drift forward when you're doing that curl. Just whatever you do, make sure those elbows stay pinned to your rib cage the entire time you're doing that curl until you bring them up in front of you to do those hooks. Then pull those elbows right back down, pin them next to that rib cage again before you start that bicep curl back down. This is your last round. Pull those elbows back, drop those hands, and let it relax. All right, let's move to the next one, the reverse fly pulses. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're going to bend straight over from those hips. Keep that back perfectly flat, those knees slightly bent. Then do that reverse fly motion. Bring those arms straight out from your shoulders. Just a little bit of a bend in that elbow. And at the very top of that range of motion, just a couple of inches, you're going to pulse those arms. You just want a nice, short, choppy motion right at the very top of that range of motion. You want to squeeze up there as high as you possibly can the entire time. Now, not only are you going to be feeling this all across that upper back and towards the outside of that arm and that neck, but you're also going to be feeling this quite a bit in that lower back. So all of those muscles are going to start trying to fatigue. That back's going to start trying to round on you. Those arms are going to start trying to droop on you a little bit. So keep checking everything. The main thing you want to focus on is keeping that back flat. Secondary is making sure those arms stay up nice and high. And keep it going. We've just got a few more seconds. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next exercise. The chest squeeze and overhead press. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and bring those elbows back up to shoulder height, the forearms straight up from that elbow. You're going to do a chest squeeze motion first by squeezing those elbows in front of your chest. Actually kind of work against yourself, then bring those elbows back out and press those dumbbells straight up over top of your shoulder. Get a full extension on that arm, almost to a full lock on that elbow, and then nice and slow back down, drop and stop that elbow right at shoulder height again. Squeeze those arms back in, pulling those elbows together in the front of your chest, then nice and slow, bring them back out. Just remember, every time you squeeze those elbows in the front, you actually want to be working against yourself with the muscles in the back of your chest as well. 2 more cycles. 1 left. Squeeze those elbows in together nice and tight. Shoulder press. Push those hands right up over top of that shoulder. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise. The windmills plus a tricep extension. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So you're going to start off with what is basically a lateral raise. So you can bring those arms straight up out to your sides. In with that hand directly above that shoulder with that elbow almost completely locked out. Then you're going to bend that elbow, bring those hands straight back behind your head, down as low as is comfortable. Slowly press them right back up again to a full extension. Then nice and slow let those arms drop back down to your sides. Barely tap that thigh and then start that motion over again. You want to try to make sure that elbow stays almost completely straight as you're doing that lateral raise. Bring that arm straight up and straight back down. And then when you get them up to the top, try to keep that elbow directly above that shoulder as you bend those elbows, bringing that dumbbell back behind your head. Just make sure you're keeping that back nice and flat, nice and straight up and down the entire time. We're almost done. This is your last cycle. Slowly let those arms back down and let them relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise, arm circles. This is actually one of the best exercises you can do for toning up those shoulders. Let's go ahead and get ready. And begin. Get those arms straight out from that shoulder. You want to make a circle around that shoulder joint. So you want to be just a few inches above at the top of that range of motion and a few inches below at the bottom of that range of motion. So just keep that circle going nice and slow in a constant pace and a constant pattern. You're always going to be moving forward at the top of that range of motion. We're going to switch here in just a second. All right, go ahead and switch directions. So at the top of that range of motion, you're going to be moving that arm backwards. So get that arm circle going again, same exact pace, same circle size, just this time moving in the opposite direction. Keep checking out of the corner of your eye from time to time. As those shoulders start getting tired, the circle's going to start getting smaller, or it's going to start drooping quite a bit, or both. So just keep checking out of the corner of your eye. We're almost done. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next exercise. We're doing a single arm fly. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're going to kind of prop yourself up in a sort of a side lunge off to the left with that left elbow on top of that knee. And then nice and slow with your right hand, you're going to open that arm up out to the side, keeping your chest about parallel to the wall in front of you. Nice and slow, let that arm back down. Barely touch that other hand and then bring it right back up again. Slowly bring it up. You want to keep that elbow at almost a complete extension. You want just a little tiny bit of a bend in that elbow. Like I said before, you want to try to keep that chest open to the wall. Try to keep it as stationary as possible. Try not to let that shoulder drop forward as you bring that hand back down. Almost done. Just 2 more repetitions. Here's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. So go ahead and lunge off to the right side for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. All right, lunging off to the right side, kind of propping yourself up with that right elbow and knee. And then with that left arm, nice and slow, raise that arm up and out to the side. Remember, trying to keep that chest parallel to the wall in front of you as best you can. Slowly dropping that arm back down, barely touching that other hand before you bring that arm back up. Just make sure as you drop that arm down that you don't let that top shoulder, that left shoulder, droop forward. Almost done, just 2 more repetitions. Nice slow fluid motion. Keep that elbow almost completely straight. And slow out that arm back down and let it relax. All right, workout complete. Good job. You just finished Fitness Blender's 10.
Okay. So those workouts are an example of your arm extension exercises. Okay. So next is forward lunges. Used to strengthen the muscles in your legs, buttocks, and core. Take a big step forward with one leg and bend your knees so that it's at 90 degrees angle with the floor. Bring your other leg down until it's almost touching the floor. Push yourself back up to the starting position. Alternate legs with each repetition. Be careful. Keep your torso upright and back straight. When doing this exercise, also your front knee should not move past your toes. So here we have an example of the proper way of doing the forward lunges. Okay, so let's watch this video.
Fitness advisor. This is how to do lunges for beginners. Lunges, they're one of the most effective lower body exercises. They're natural, they're functional. We do them all day long, and the stronger our muscles are around our knees, which is what the lunge helps us do, the better. So we're going to show you how to do a lunge for beginners using perfect form. Lunges are not bad for you. Bad lunges aren't good for you, right? So we're going to show you how to do them correctly. Daisy is going to demonstrate one foot in front of the other is how you're going to start as a beginner. No movement, and she's going to do a stationary lunge. She's going to drop her body straight down. The couple things you want to remember is, now give us a couple repetitions, Daisy. So watch her movement. Her knee stays behind her toes. She's not going forward, she's going down. The knee, if you can, will stay right over the ankle. She's dropping her upper body straight down. Her chest is up. She's looking forward, and she's working that leg in a safe, functional way. So you might do 10 repetitions on one side. Then she would switch, bring the other foot forward, and again, watch as she goes up and down. The knee stays behind the toes. This is a natural, functional movement. We want to be able to do this. We want these muscles to be as strong as possible. When these muscles are weak, that's when we have pain. That's when we have dysfunction, right? So by staying stationary, this is how you start. This is how you build up strength as a beginner. And there you have it, how to do a lunge for beginners. For more workout tips, just
Okay. Kita nyo yung proper way of doing the lunges. Okay, next. Arm extension and push-ups. Used to strengthen the muscles at the back of your arms and your pecs. Use a bench or chair. Push up against a wall. Facing away from the chair, place your hands on the edge of the seat, close to your buttocks. Walk your feet out until your buttocks are just a few centimeters from the floor. Legs are straight ahead, stretch out or bent. Push yourself up with your hands. Once up, turn your face in the chair and do a push-up. Keep hands on the chair. Okay, so yun yung example. So para mas makita niyo yung mas maayos na view, I have another video for the proper way of doing push-ups. Okay, so let's watch this video.
I'm Charlie Atkins, and this is the right way to do a push-up. Let's face it, push-ups are not easy, and a lot of the times, a lot of us are doing them the wrong way. So let's talk about the wrong way to do a push-up, and then we'll move on to the right way to do a push-up. Oftentimes, this is what I see. Butt up in the air, elbows pointing out, and it looks a little something like this. Now, it might feel like you're doing an easier push-up, but in reality, all you're doing is you're setting yourself up for an awesome injury. Let's talk about the right way to do push-up. To be completely honest, it's quite simple. Have your body create a moving plank. So if I start in my push-up plank position, shoulders are right over my wrist, my middle finger is pointing forward, and my hands are about mat width apart. I have a straight line from my head to my heels, and then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower down and come right back up. Coming down and extending up. Let's talk about elbow placement. When you are doing a push-up, there is not a direct degree about where your elbow is going to be placed. You just know that you want it somewhere in between here and somewhere in between here. So if you meet somewhere in the middle, this is gonna be your perfect position for elbow placement on a push-up. Let's put it into play. So if all I do is I keep my straight line from my head to my heels, I lower down and I come right back up. See my elbows, they're moving out and coming right back up. Now, depending on the type of exercise or the type of push-up that you're doing, elbows might be tucked in if you're doing more of a tricep push-up or a yoga push-up, or if you take your hands a little bit wider for a wide stance push-up, your elbows, of course, are gonna be at a different angle. But for the traditional push-up, you wanna be somewhere in between here and here. So let's talk about modifications and how you can make your push-ups easier. All you need to do is add a little bit of elevation. So, from here, if I lift myself up, that way I'm not so far down onto the ground, I am effectively creating a little bit easier push-up, but everything is still the same. I'm lowering down, my elbows are going out in that angle somewhere between here, and I'm just coming right back up. Modified push-ups made easier. That was the right way to do a push-up. If you want more right ways, make sure that you subscribe to Well and Good right now. I'm Charlie Atkins, and I'll see you next time on the mat.
Okay. So I hope you have an idea kung paano i-perform ang proper push-ups after watching that video. Okay. Next is planks. It's an excellent for strengthening the muscle in your abs and back. Although not the most popular exercise, it's all around great for the health of your back. In a push-up motion, face down on the floor, press your weight on your forearms and toes. Holding your body above the floor, your body should form a straight line from head to feet. Don't forget to breathe. Hold the position for 15 to 60 seconds. And planks. So here is an example of the proper way of executing a plank. So let's watch this video.
Hi, I'm Amy Dixon, Bowflex Fitness Advisor, and this is Planks for Beginners. So I'm going to show you a few different types of planks. Stephanie will be demonstrating. Come on down into a forearm plank. So this is the most regressed version of the plank that you can do. On your forearms, form is crucial here. So shoulders are directly over your elbows, hands are in a nice extension, and you're finding length from your tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. This exercise really fires up the core. And when I talk about the core, it's not just your abdominals. It includes your abdominals, your back, your hips, and your shoulders and your chest. Great job, Stephanie. Now, to amp this up, once you have this mastered, simply tuck the toes under and lift the knees off of the mat. So this exercise, once you can do this for about a minute, feel free to progress to the next one. But think about the form here. It's exactly the same. You're still creating length in the spine, energy throughout now the back of the feet, and still length through the spine from the top of the head through the tailbone. Form is flawless. Great job. And now we're going to progress it. So you can go ahead, take a second, stretch a little. The next plank is a straight arm plank. So starting on the knees, same thing. You always have your knees to come back to. From here, form, it's all about stacking the joint. So shoulders directly over the wrists, arms are long and straight, spine is long again, crown of the head, tailbone, same exact rules. Fantastic job. Once you've mastered this, tuck the toes under, lift the hips off, and now you have a full plank. And this is where we execute push-ups, where we can just hold the plank and do a lot of different variations. But for now, we're keeping it simple. Form is exactly the same. Energy in the core. Once you can hold this, stick it. Hold it for about a minute. Now, I'm going to show you one last plank variation, which is a side plank. It's done quite a bit, keeping it on that elbow and on the forearm there. So, shoulder here, stacked directly over the elbow, hips on the floor and stacked at first, knees are stacked. So everything's in alignment, including the shoulders. Now go ahead, Stephanie, lift the hips off. This exercise is really challenging. It changes because you're on your side now. You're gonna be activating a bit more of the side body than usual, but you're still working that core. Hold it right there, focus on your breath. Alignment through the spine is exactly the same. Tailbone to the crown of the head. And now, once you've mastered this, let's take it one step further. So legs now are going to become straight. You're going to extend the legs. You can cross the top leg over. Hips stay lifted. Joints stay stacked. So hip over hip, shoulder over shoulder. You can extend the arm, reaching through the fingertips. And notice how Stephanie's keeping that beautiful long line from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Now that's the side plank. Of course you would do it on the other side. Great work. And there you have it, planks for beginners.
Okay. Grabe. So intense yung sample. So maraming different position na pwede mong i-perform during planks. Okay? So for your activity, what you need is proper exercise attire, rubber shoes, 2 plastic bottles with 500 ml each filled with water, and a sturdy chair. Okay. Follow the table. Perform the following exercises. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So may rest day kayo every other day. Okay. So here are the instructions. Do this exercise at the same time of the day. Warm up for 3 minutes before doing the exercise routine. Do the exercise one after the other with 15 seconds active rest in between. Repeat the whole routine 3 to 5 times. Take 3 minutes rest after every round. Okay. Cool down with static exercise for 3 minutes after your last round. For activity 2, in 10 to 15 sentences, discuss what changes you have observed after doing the activity for a week in terms of your endurance, speed, strength, sleeping habit, metabolism, and breathing during exercise. Okay? If you have any question, you can chat me in the group chat. Thank you for watching and God bless.